everybody, it's Gigi. So I'm back again for my third attempt at this Facebook Live stuff. And this time I am using my laptop instead of my iPhone. And I think I've got a little bit better picture for you. So again, this is all new stuff for me. So just bear with me as I learn this curve of recording. So I am a yoga teacher in North Central Wisconsin, for those of you that might pick this up and are not my students. And before I start with our mat yoga practice today, I'd like to share with you all kind of how I got my inspiration and courage to actually go about doing this. So last week, during my first week of sort of self-containment, I was really just trying to wrap my mind around this whole pandemic, which I'm sure a lot of you were also trying to do. And I was feeling some anxiety and I was feeling overwhelmed, and I think most of us are, just because of all the unknowns out there right now. But then after I got through that week, and Monday I was sitting on my couch in the morning and I was still feeling a little lost, maybe a little depressed, and I had my iPhone and I was scanning through Facebook, and up on the screen appeared a very dear friend of mine, Jennifer Monsos, and she was offering a live yoga class on Facebook. And just as an aside, Jennifer and I did our very first yoga training together in July of 2002, and we're both still teaching yoga. So Jennifer kind of gave me the courage to go ahead and try this, and I really appreciate her for that. And then I decided to get down on the floor with her practice, and I climbed off the couch and I was in my PJs and I started to do the practice with her. I didn't have a mat out or anything like that, and she got me moving and I started to feel a lot happier in a very short amount of time. And of course, I should know this, right? I'm a yoga teacher. Yoga makes you feel better. But it took her guidance and inspiration to kind of get me off the couch and practicing some yoga. So I know that right now sometimes it's hard to self-motivate ourselves, but I thought for some of you that are my students, maybe if you see my smiling face, you might be inclined to get off the couch too and join me in a yoga practice. So today we are going to do a mat-based class that is kind of mixed level, so you'll be able to do whatever you want to do. Remember, I always say listen to your body. So take the practice and make it your own, and we are going to get started. So I'm going to travel back to my mat here. And we are going to start today on our backs, which is how I start practice a lot in my classes. So if you feel like you want any props handy, like a blanket or a block or something, if that's available to you, you can get it ready. And then we're all going to just meet lying down on our backs. You might like to start with your knees bent and your feet grounded. This just supports the low back a little bit better. And then we're just going to spend a few moments here kind of centering ourselves and preparing for the practice. So we'll close our eyes, soften our jaw, release our shoulders down and back. Start to feel your back body grounding you to the earth. Allow your front body to open to the sky. And start to come into your breath. If you're breathing diaphragmatically, that is with your diaphragm, you might notice that as you breathe in, the abdomen region expands or rises, and as you breathe out, it gently surrenders. So allowing your breath to take you into your body, start sensing and feeling and noticing how you're feeling physically. And start taking yourself inward. Connect with your true self. So for today's practice, we're going to let go of the external world. Give ourselves a little respite from everything that's happening in that external world. And we're just going to honor ourselves with this practice, moving inward. Maybe filling up our well, replenishing, restoring. All right, so from this position, what I'd like you to do is kind of lengthen your body out. So straightening the legs out nice and long in full extension. Arms are resting alongside your body. And we're going to do something called wind relievers. Ha ha, lots of laughs. On an inhalation, I want you to take your arms slowly up and over your head toward the floor, but listen to your shoulders, don't push anything. On the exhale, you're going to bring the arms back and at the same time bring your right knee to your chest and just give it a nice hug in. On an inhale, you're going to take those arms back over and that leg back out. And on the exhale, the left leg gets to come in for that nice hug. We'll keep this moving. Inhalation, arms back over, extension. Exhalation, right knee to the chest. Repeating, inhale, up and over. And exhale, left knee coming in. One more on each side. Inhale, full extension. Exhale, right knee coming up and in. Inhale, extension. And exhale, left knee coming in. Inhale, one more full extension. Let's stay here. And rotate your wrists and ankles around a little bit. Go both directions. And then slowly begin to bring your arms back right alongside the body. And then slide those feet back up and in and plant them. The feet are about hip distance apart. And we're getting ready for our bridge pose next. So let's ground firmly through the feet as we inhale and begin to lift the hips. Maybe your first bridge is just a baby bridge. And exhale, gently release. Again, inhale, rising up into another bridge, maybe making this one a little bigger. And exhale, lower. Let's do 2 more. Inhale, ground through the feet, rise. Exhale. Last one, inhalation, rise up, and let's hold this one. So stay up for the exhale. And staying again for another in-breath. Continue to breathe on your own. And then when you find an exhalation, gently roll down the spine like a string of pearls, connecting back to the mat and release. All right, from here, we'll bring both knees up to the chest and hug them in toward us. And just gently from here, rock from side to side. And then eventually rolling to your right side and starting to come up. And we're going to meet in table pose, but I'm just going to check comments to make sure everybody can hear me. Oh, good. Lots of friends out there. Stan and Tammy and Sharon and Lisa, Jolene, Julie, Pam, Dean, Kathy. If you're up higher, I didn't see, but hi, everybody. All right, so here comes our cow-cat practice. We're in table. Our shoulders are right above our wrists, our fingers are spread, our knees are under our hips. On an in-breath, let's let the belly start to release toward the floor. You're gonna let your pelvic region tip up and then let your heart lift. So you're doing a back bend. And then on the exhalation, let's draw the belly up toward the sky. Now we're tucking and rounding. Each inhalation, go ahead, come back through to your cow. And each exhalation, rounding and tucking. Go ahead and flow with your breath as you continue to go back and forth. Cow-cat is really a great warm-up for the body, getting into our head, neck, shoulders, our spine, our pelvic region. Go ahead and do 1 more of these to each position. And then land right back in neutral spine, your table pose. All right, who's ready for down dog? Let's tuck the toes under, start to lift the hips up and back, tuck the belly in, and it's our first one. Maybe you'd like to alternate pressing one heel and lifting the other, kind of taking your doggy for a walk. I've been having a weird tightness in the outer edge of my left heel, which I've never had in my life. So down dog really feels good to stretch that out for me. All right, from this down dog, let's come back to the table. Untuck your toes and start to sit back into your child pose, Balasana. So drawing those hips back toward the feet, bowing forward to the earth. Let's go ahead and inhale. Come on back to our table pose. Tuck the toes again. Exhale. Here comes another down dog. Again, feel free to pedal those feet. Sometimes I like to turn my head from side to side just to get a little extra head neck movement going. All right, now we're really going to walk our dog because we're going to walk our feet all the way up toward our hands and come into your first forward bend. Now, maybe you want to be at a half forward bend. Maybe you're just resting your elbows on your knees or your thighs. Maybe your hands are on your shins. If you have a block, maybe you're using that. Or some of us might even take our hands down to the floor. Go ahead, bend those knees. Look, I'm bending mine. It's fine to bend your knees. You want to have a soft bend in your knees anyway. Let's inhale up to the half fold, nice long spine, and then exhale, coming back down. From here, we're going to take the right foot, giant step back, and we're going to come into lunge. So the front knee will bend, and it'll be right on top of your ankle. Spine is nice and long. Now, if you like, you can let the back knee drop. So either lunge position is fine. From lunge, we're going to take the left leg back now and find plank. Now, I've got some shoulder issues, so I like to do my plank from my knees. So if you want to join me on knees, go ahead, tuck your belly in, and slowly release down to the mat. Untuck your toes, and on an in-breath, start to rise up into the cobra. Your elbows are coming in to give you a little hug. Your heart is open. We're going to exhale back down to the mat. And then on an in-breath, we'll come up to our table and into our downward dog again. Take some nice deep breaths here. Now we're going to return to the lunge because we're moving through a sun salutation. So the modified way to do that would be to come down to your table and then bring your right leg through. But I know that some of you just sweep your right leg through, and that's fine too. And let's remember that we can keep that back knee grounded, or we can lift the back knee. So be in the position that feels good for your body. And remember, we're listening to our bodies. From lunge, we're going to step the back foot up to the front, and we're back in our forward fold position again. Find the forward fold that serves you. And on an in-breath, we'll start to rise up, reach for the sky, let your hands unite. And on an out breath, let's exhale and bring our hands to our heart center. Reconnect to our intention of moving inwards, filling up our well. And then with an inhalation, let's take upward arms in hand. And on the exhalation, coming down through the midline back into forward bend, otherwise known as Uttanasana. With an in-breath, rise to your half forward bend, and with the out-breath, back down toward your full. We're going to move through one more sun salutation, so this time we'll take the left leg back first for the lunge. Right knee over ankle. Back knee can be up or down, yogi's choice. From our lunge, we're going to move to the plank. Deciding here if we want to keep our knees lifted or grounded. Tuck the belly in and exhale, release. Tops of the feet are grounded as we inhale, rising up to whatever cobra meets your needs. Remember, our hips stay grounded. Exhale, let's return to the earth. Inhale, it's table. And exhale, downward dog. If the downward dogs get to be too much for you, just stay in table. We're going to return to our lunge. So you can either sweep your left leg through, or you can come to table and bring the left leg through. Let's go ahead and step the back foot up to the front foot. We're back in forward fold. On an in-breath, we'll take it all the way back up to the top. And on the out-breath, let's go ahead and land at our heart center. Brief check-in. How's everybody doing? Oh, hi, Jennifer. Hi, Lori. Hi, Sue. Thanks for joining. We are going to move into some standing work. Warrior one is up first. So you're up at the top of your mat, and you're going to start to walk your right leg back, usually 2 or 3 steps. And then remember, we want to focus on our shoulders and hips facing the long edge of the mat. On an in-breath, let's take upward arms and hands again. Let them unite. And on an out-breath, bend into that front knee, coming into the warrior one. Again, with breath, inhale, straighten the front leg, reach up. On the out-breath, let's go ahead, come on back in. One more. Inhale, upward arms and hands. And exhale. Nice. Let's go ahead and release. We're going to change the foundation of our pose by taking the back leg and rotating it more open. So now our shoulders and hips are facing the long edge of the mat as we go ahead and come into warrior two. Again, we're stacking that front knee over the ankle. We're letting our shoulders drop down. And our facial expression is soft. On an in-breath, let's rotate this up into our reverse warrior. And then slowly make our way back to warrior two. We're going to go the other way now. So we're going to tip left, bringing the hand to the thigh and the right arm up. And then if you want to take this a little deeper, maybe dropping the forearm down to the thigh, and that right arm kind of reaching up and over. Take a couple breaths. And then make your way back to our warrior two again. Let's release the arms, straighten the leg, take the left leg now and rotate that toward the long edge. So our feet and legs are all facing the long edge together. We're going to inhale our arms up to make a star. And then we're going to exhale and sink into our goddess squat. Let's inhale, reach up into the star again. And exhale, squat. Inhale, up. And exhale, squat and breathe. Smile. I'm pretending that I can see all your smiling faces out there. Inhale up one more time. Exhale, arms release. The hands find the hips now. How about a wide-legged forward fold? Let's exhale. Start to hinge from the hips. Keep your knees soft. And go down into whatever forward fold you would like. This is another place where you could have a block. If you didn't want to go down too low, you could rest your elbows and forearms on your thighs. So let's take this forward fold and rotate it around to face front in your lunge again. remember, back knee can be up or down, your choice. Let's go ahead and step together. We're back in our forward fold position. Take a couple breaths here. Feel the backs of your legs lengthening. Maybe let your head and neck release. If you like, you could hold on to your elbows with opposite hands. Good, and then slowly, finding an in-breath, let's rise up, reach up again. And on the out-breath, we'll land in our heart. So we'll move on to the second side. Warrior one is up first. So this time we'll be walking our left leg back. Remember, with our warrior one, it's more of the hips kind of squared forward. That back foot will be open a little bit, but not nearly as much as we do in warrior two or triangle. So let's inhale those upward arms again, hands unite, and exhale as we sink into that warrior one. Again, inhale all the way up. And exhale, coming in. Inhale, last one. Exhale, come in. Bring the base of your thumbs in towards your heart. Honor yourself for all the courage you're having during this challenging time that we're going through. And just remember that we're all more alike than we are different. Let's go ahead and release. Now we're going to take the left hip and we're going to rotate it open. So again, we're changing the foundation. We'll bend into the front knee, and first we'll come in to that warrior two pose. So now you get to see my backside. On an in-breath, let's go into the reverse. Engage your core, notice the back bend. And then let's go ahead and come back to the warrior two. And then we'll go the other direction, tipping right. Maybe you like hand to thigh with left arm up. Or maybe you want to take it just a bit deeper. And then we'll come back to the warrior two. And release. We'll rotate the right leg now, so we're facing the long edge again. And we'll bring it up into the star. Let's exhale, sink down into goddess. And inhale up. Exhale, sink. Inhale up. Exhale, let's stay. Breathe. And inhale up. Exhale, hands are going to find the hips. And we're going to go into that wide-legged forward bend. So go ahead and start to hinge from the hips, keeping the knees soft. And breathe here. Hey, hi bro, Jill, Jackie, Randy Beal, Carol Bullard, Jane, and and Liz. Hi, everybody. All right, let's come up from that fold. And this time we'll just walk our feet and legs back together and come back up to the top of your mat. All right. How's everybody doing? Yay! All right, let's come back down to the earth now. So we're gonna find our table pose. And we're gonna do a little bit of back bending. So we're gonna come all the way down onto our front side. We're gonna prop up on our elbows and forearms. So this is called the Sphinx pose. Your elbows are under your shoulders and you're smiling ahead. So let's go ahead while we're in Sphinx and start to tuck our chin down toward our chest. And then on an in-breath, bend your knees and start to bring your head into a neutral position or maybe a little up. And then on the exhale, let the legs release back down, tuck your chin. Inhale, we'll bend again and look ahead. Exhale, release and tuck. Inhale, let's come up and stay here. Now, some of us are going to hang out right here. This is great. If you want to play with the bow pose, you'd be reaching back and you might find your feet or you might not. Doesn't matter. Just do the best you can. And then we'll slowly release the legs, release the arms, and just rest forward on your mat. Release. Bringing the head to neutral, we're going to come up to that table pose. And then we want to counter pose all that back bending with our child pose. So again, we're going to draw the hips back like we did in the beginning of our practice, sink back and bow forward. Let's inhale and come on back up to table. And then how about we have a seat on our seats? We're gonna take the legs kind of long and out in front of us, which is actually called Dandasana. So if you want to sit on the edge of your blanket, if you happen to have one handy, go ahead and do that. And we're just going to fold here. So doing the best you can to hinge from the hips and bow over your legs. And then slowly bringing yourself back up. All right, we are going to open our right leg over to the side and we're going to bend the left. So finding your sitting bones here, we're going to do a lateral stretch. So on an in-breath, we're going to bring our left arm up toward the top. And on the exhale, we're going to start to come over and across toward that extended leg. And just breathe and hold here. And release. Staying in this position, we're going to do a rotation next. So let's bring our right arm up. We're going to rotate through to the left and see if we can find that knee. We're sitting tall as we're rotated to the left. And then staying rotated, maybe turn your head more toward the front. And maybe a little bit past. Like a Spanish dancer. And then start to bring the head back first. And then we'll come out of the rotation and switch legs. So now we're going to open the left and then the right. Again, sitting tall. The lateral stretches up first. So we're going to inhale the right arm up. And then we'll exhale as we start to come over. And remember, you don't have to force or push anything. Just breathe. And let's release. Next up is our twist. So let's bring that left arm up. We're going to rotate to the right this time. See if we can find that knee. And breathe. While we're here, let's go ahead and rotate the head to the front. Don't forget to smile. And if you want to turn the head a little past, go ahead. And then we'll bring the head back first. And we'll come on back around. From here, let's bring the bottoms of the feet together. So we're in our cobbler pose. And holding on to the feet, maybe letting those knees start to release down. Tucking the belly in. And if any of you want to hinge forward a little bit, just kind of round. And coming back up from that, let's extend the legs back out long in Dandasana. Maybe just shake them out a little bit. Awesome. So from here, we are going to come back onto our backs where we started our practice. So take your time finding your way there. And let's have our knees bent again and our feet grounded. We're going to get into the hips a little bit with some pigeon work. So we're going to begin, once you're settled, by taking our right ankle and resting it in front of that left knee and then letting that right knee kind of move out and away from you. So for some people, this is a big enough stretch and they just hang out here. So if you're one of those people, stay here. Now, others might like to try and lift that leg position up and in toward them, and you can hang out here. You could maybe hold on to that left leg. Now, I like to keep my knee bent in pigeon, but I know some people like to extend it and go into that upside down number 4. So pick the one that you feel like doing right now. Try and let your shoulders settle back and just bring awareness to that right hip. And let's slowly release that. You can uncross. And then we'll do the other side. So we'll bring that left ankle up in front of the right knee. Again, if this is a good stretch, stay here. If you want more, you're bringing it up and in. You can hold on wherever you like or not. And again, if you like that extension of the right leg, go ahead, up to you. Remember that you're making the practice yours. I have to admit that these pigeons feel pretty darn good today. Let's go ahead and release and uncross. All right, we're gonna walk the feet apart about as wide as the width of the mat or whatever's comfortable for you, and then kind of slide your arms out in a way a little bit. So this next practice is called windshield wipers, and Tammy, if you're out there, this is your favorite one. Here we go. Let's release the legs over toward the floor on the right and allow your head to gently roll the opposite way left. Then inhale, come back to center your head too, and exhale, let your legs drop over to the left and let your head roll to the right. As you inhale, come back to neutral. As you exhale, we switch again. Legs are right, head is left. As we inhale, we're coming back. Breathe out, legs are left, head is right. Breathe in, we're back at center. Let's breathe out and let the legs go right again. We're going to stay this time, letting the head gently roll left. And breathe here. Try and let yourself surrender into the pose. And inhale, come on back. Let's do our other side. Exhale, the legs will release to the left, the head to the right. Feel free to adjust your feet and legs in any way that you like so that you can fully surrender into this release. And then we'll bring our head back to neutral. We'll bring our legs back to that center point. We'll walk the feet a little closer together. And let's go ahead and bring those knees into the chest. Holding on to our kneecaps, we'll draw some circles up on the ceiling with our knees. Just giving yourself a little massage in that lumbar spine. And then let's go ahead and go the other way. And then hug your knees back towards your chest. Plant your right foot, plant your left foot. And from here, we are going to move into our Shavasana practice. So it'll just be a brief relaxation practice for us. So if you want to put your socks on or grab a blanket to cover up with, go ahead. And I'll meet you back down on our backs for Shavasana. So feel free during the Shavasana practice to either keep your knees bent or to let those legs extend all the way out fully. And just allow yourself to settle in here. Allow your facial expression to relax. So release your jaw, soften your mouth. Check in on that space that's between your two eyebrows and relax that. Soften the forehead muscles. Allow your shoulders to drop down and back. Feel yourself grounding again to the earth. Open your heart to both give and receive. Let's unite with our breath. So just like in the beginning of our practice, as you inhale, you might notice that your abdomen expands and rises. And as you exhale, it's gently releasing or surrendering. Bring your awareness, your full awareness to the breath. So that you're physically feeling the movement of the breath coming in and out. You're mentally watching the breath with your mind coming in and out. So that you're completely connected to the breath, consciously aware. Let's start to wiggle our toes and our fingers. Maybe start to bring the feet back in and plant them. Feel free to take your arms overhead for another stretch. And maybe even your knees back towards your chest. Give yourself a hug for hanging out with me during this practice. So we're going to roll to our side and we're going to start to make our way up. And I'm going to come in a little closer and you can just find a seated pose. So feel free to give me whatever feedback you like if you would like a longer Shavasana than what I provided. I have a little closing here set up for you. So about 2 years ago in March, I came upon a reading that I really liked, and it's something that I'd like to share with all of you today. It's an excerpt from the book Wonder, and it's about being kinder than is necessary. So this excerpt is actually part of a graduation speech from the director of a middle school. He goes on to say, "When you reflect on this past year, I want you all to look at where you are now and where you've been. You've all gotten a little taller, a little stronger, and a little smarter, I hope. But the best way to measure how much you've grown isn't by inches, or the number of laps you can now run around the track, or even your grade point average. Though these things are important to be sure, it's what you've done with your time, how you've chosen to spend your days, and whom you've touched in this year. That, to me, is the greatest measure of success. There's a wonderful line in a book by J.M. Barrie, and in that book he writes, "Shall we make a new rule of life, always to try to be a little kinder than is necessary?" Kinder than is necessary, he repeats. What a marvelous line, isn't it? Kinder than necessary. Because it's not enough to just be kind. One should be kinder than is needed. Why I love this line, that concept, is that it reminds me that we carry with us as human beings not just the capacity to be kind, but the very choice of kindness. He continues, what I want you, my students, to take away from your school experience is the sure knowledge that in the future you make for yourselves, anything is possible. If every single person made it a rule that wherever you are, whenever you can, you will try to act a little kinder than is necessary, the world would be a better place. So if you'd like, you can bring your hands together at your heart center and maybe bow your head. So I feel like this reading is super important to us during this time. And not thinking about just being kinder than is necessary to other people, but also being kinder than is necessary to yourself. Because this is a very challenging time for each one of us, and in many different ways. So honor yourself with that kindness. Honor your family with that kindness. And let's do our best to try to send out that kindness to all people and all beings. Namaste. So with that, I hope you enjoyed our practice today, and I'm hoping to do some more practices both on the mat and maybe some chair strength and balance for all my students that come to the MEC Center, and maybe even a yoga strength class for some of you that like that class. So that's it for today. Thanks for being here. Bye-bye.